Okay. Oh, my screen looks dusty. What's up, everybody? What's up? Come on in. I'm streaming at a new time and a new day. I'm trying different things out. This is Niki with Homeschool Knockouts. I hope everyone is doing well. Come on in. We are talking about homeschooling your ADHD teen. Okay. Come on in. I'm going to take a sip. Look, I have 3 drinks. I got ADHD with my drinks. I can't get my other one. Well, it was a shot of my fire cider. Come on in. I have a lot of resources for you guys. Come on in. Okay, let's get this started. Uh-oh. Knocking everything down. Okay. Okay, everybody. Actually, you know what? I didn't send all my notifications. Okay, it's okay. All right. So as you guys come on in, we are talking about ADHD and your teen. Okay. Now, why am I bringing this topic up? Because ADHD is so prevalent in the world, not just our society, but it's so prevalent. Everybody, whether they have an official diagnosis or not, a lot of people exhibit symptoms of ADHD. Now, there are 3 types of ADHD, and they are the hyperactivity kind, where you're like, super hype, you're very active, you're impulsive, you're just all over the place, and you can't focus. And then you have the other type of ADHD is the opposite. It's the inattentive type of ADHD. And hold on, I'm just turning off the notifications on my phone so we are not disturbed. So the second type of ADHD is the inattentive type. That's the one where, your child is always drifting off into space, or they're daydreaming, they don't really focus. There's no follow through with anything that they do. They're distracted really easily. So you have that. And then for the third ADHD, you have what's called combined, which is the hyperactivity and the inattentive. And so your child might show symptoms of both kinds. They might be, super impulsive, in some aspects, and in other aspects, they're just, you've called their name several times and they're still like out looking into space. Okay. So those are just the 3 kind, and remember, there's no, oh, you're this, you're that, or, well, which one am I? Things can just blend, through each other. So don't focus on which one does my child have. I mean, it's good to know, but if you're seeing that they have something of everything, just know they're combined. Okay. Now, how we address that is key. Okay. So once we know, okay, are they active, inattentive, or both, then we can start addressing those issues. So as maybe this is not the best time because I don't see anyone in the chat, and I did put my notifications out. Maybe this is not the best time because I don't see. Okay, so as we are trying to figure out, okay, what do I do with this child to make our homeschool day go as smoothly as possible? So let's just jump right into the tips. So tip number 1, okay? And these are my don't tips, okay? Which will turn into do. So do this instead of that, okay? And the first one is, now, FYI, I have a child, my middle son, who was diagnosed with autism when he was just shy of 3. And then within that bundle of the diagnosis was ADHD, right? Now, he was basically 3. He's now 15, and he has none of those labels, none of those symptoms. My oldest child does, though. Okay, so Just in case I forget, I want to show you 2 books to get more information. Um, no, I'll wait on these. I don't want to overwhelm you. Okay, so number 1. Okay. Now, as you guys come on in, if you want to share stories, if you want to go live, just let me know. I'll put a link in the box, which I did not do. If you want to go live, oh, I gotta finish taking I started twisting my hair up, y'all. All right. So, number 1, and I have been guilty of all of these. Okay, organizing or cleaning for your child. I know as moms, especially if you have OCD like I do, you think they can't do it as good as you want, as good as you would do it, or they're too slow doing things. You just want to do it and get it done. Don't do that. Do not do that, okay? Because just like with adults, you went to like your grandma's house or a friend's house or whatever, and it's a mess. But if you ask them for something, they know exactly where it is in the midst of the mess. Okay, so a lot of times, our teens with ADHD, like, oh my God, my son's room right now makes my blood pressure boil, but he knows where everything is. Um, we had an episode this morning, y'all. I'm dealing with these tips now. It's rainy in California. It's cold, and he had his friend's jacket. I don't know why, and it was a black jacket. We have like 20 black jackets in the house, and he forgot it. And then he's like, "Oh, can you get it for me?" I was taking him to school, and I'm like, "Well, where is it?" Well, obviously, it's on the banister by this, and that. And I'm like, how do you even know? But they know, okay? Even if they don't know, they kind of do know. So instead of like cleaning up for them or organizing for them, get in there and do it with them and see what their mindset is, their approach is with cleaning and organizing. And don't do it all in one day. Say, hey, you know what? We're going to work by the bed, or we're going to work this corner or this closet. Do it in chunks. One big thing you're going to hear me talk about as resources and dues are chunks. And y'all know I did a book club called Atomic Habits. I always have this book floating around. Anyway, it's you just do everything a little bit at a time. So um you go into your child's room and you start cleaning everything up, you might have removed 5 visual cues that they have. I'm undiagnosed, but I think I might have a little bit of ADHD because just today I put $5 and an old car key on the counter in the kitchen. I don't know why it was there, to remind myself I need the $5 to give to my son for something for drama. And then the key is my old car key. You can't even see like open door, locked door, all of the little pictures. You can't see it. It's so worn out. So I need a new one. So I just set it there. But I bet you my bottom dollar, when my husband goes into the kitchen for lunch, he'll probably put the key thing back in the utility drawer and he'll put the $5 in his pocket. And then I'll be like, what was I supposed to do? Why was I in the kitchen? Okay. So don't do that to your child. Okay. Number 2. And if y'all have any comments, Shelby, I call this organized mess. Exactly. It is an organized mess. Like, dare I show y'all my organized mess? I'll show you a little bit. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure there's no personal information for underwear. All right. Now, if you look here, it's messy, horrible. But I know every single thing that's right here. I know every single principle that's right here. But to the untrained eye, it's like, oh girl, you need to take care of your house. No, I don't. I know it. I know where everything is. All right. Number 2. Number 2, things we don't want to do. Instead, we'll do that. I got to change that title. Don't encourage your child to do all of their work before they go out and play or do video games or whatever they want to do. So don't say something like, all right, get all your math done, or get all your chores done before you go outside and play, which they don't do anymore, before you get on Fortnite or something like that, right? Because when you're telling them to take a big old bite of something to do, and they're not motivated, because a lot of people with ADHD, they're not motivated, and it takes a lot to get them motivated and to stay motivated. So when you're telling them, do all of this, I'm guilty of this. I'll say, hey guys, when you come home, knock out your chores, and then you have the rest of the day to just chill. Well, for some of my kids, depending on what they have after school or activities, they might have 5 chores that day, or they might have 2 chores that day. So if I'm telling them to do all these chores, they're already like defeated. Oh my God, I'm never going to get done with all of this. They might not have the capacity to really get through everything to your satisfaction and then go do something that they want to do. So instead of saying, like for my kid who has sometimes 6 chores when he comes home, and some of those chores are easy, like sweep the stairs, right? So I say, okay, chunks, chunks, just do 2 chores. Go do what you want to do. Come back and do another 2 chores. You got 6 chores? Do 2 at a time. Go do a little bit of something, go play for about an hour, come back, knock out the other 2. Okay. So if you tell them to say, hey, I know you got a math test, I know you got grammar, I know you got uh, a writing assignment. Choose one of the 3, knock that out, and then go handle your business and do what you want. Okay. For an hour, give them a time limit. Then come back and do number 2. Oh, let me show you. Okay. So, and for this one, and I'm proof of this because when my middle one was in 2nd grade, I started to see the ADHD. And so, he had a behavior therapist, ABA. He had all the therapies, y'all, the OT, the speech, all of that. And the one thing that one of the therapists said was, give them a tracker. For a lot of children, especially on the spectrum, and those that have ADHD, they're very visual, and they need to see like that whole picture because they might get anxious. So then you start to add anxiety to the ADHD. So having this visual cue helps to calm them and puts like a security blanket, or like a border around them, so they kind of like a wound, so they kind of feel secure. So let me show you what that looks like, because I made this for my kid, and I'm going to give this to you. I was rushing to kind of get on here, and so I didn't put it in a link so you can download it. I will do that after the live, but let me show you what it looks like. And this is what I'm going to give you guys, okay? Okay, it looks like this. I made this years ago, and it's called a weekly assignment tracker, okay? And you see how, hold on, maybe, can you guys see the mouse? I'm running the mouse on the worksheet. If someone in the comments can tell me if you see the mouse, otherwise I'll stop pointing and I'll just try to point like this. Can you guys see the mouse? You just put a 1 in the chat. So anyway, I'll just keep using the mouse until somebody says otherwise. So your weekly assignment tracker, okay? And this helps to help your okay, so chances are if your child has ADHD, they probably have some executive functioning issues, okay, which most of the population has. And so one of that is being organized, okay? So you see here at the top half of this worksheet, I have ways to take breaks or reward myself. Now, I made this specifically for my son with things that he likes to do. And so what it is, we do is called the Pomodoro technique. And I'm going to go over that. And which basically just means you work in a set amount of time, like a little chunk of time, then you take a break, then you come back to that time. Okay. You kind of do that back and forth like 4 times, and then you start to extend the breaks, right? So I have a list of things that he can do. All right. And he'll check off. Oh, no mouse. Okay, darn. All right. So I guess it's for my eyes only. So I have a pointer. All right. Oh, shoot. This is green. All right. Let's see. So right here where the purple pin is pointing, are the ways to take the breaks to reward him. Okay. So we have like cooking, reading, watching TV, playing sports, video games, tinkering, you guys can see this, coding, hanging out with friends, whatever. Now, here where the M is, that's Monday, and that's today's lesson. So we're going to look at what did we have to do today? So remember I said, don't say, oh, get all your work done before you go play. Say, hey, what do you got going on today? List them. And you see, I just have 3 things. It could be a chore. It could be an assignment. It could be something personal, but 3 things. Okay. Oh, I haven't. I'm glad I didn't print it out because look, it's not even lined up. So I'm going to have to fix that. Okay. So let me move this. Let me take this scroll off so you guys can see. Okay. The bottom. So, and then I have the notes, okay? Anything that I need to say, like for instance, maybe there are 6 assignments, but we're only doing 3. So I'll put that down. There's 6 assignments to be completed later, or whatever notes I want to put down. Oh, not feeling well, so we'll just do 1 assignment or something like that. And then here we have the time tracker, okay? So I took this off of the Pomodoro technique, which is a time time management method system. I'm going to go over in a minute. But here we have, can I make this bigger? The screen bigger? I don't know. I don't think I can make it bigger. But anyway, I have 30 minutes. He works for 30 minutes and then he has the break, and he can choose one of these things up here for his break. And then he goes back. Now you see my breaks, the time he's working is 30 minutes. We worked up to that. I actually have a couple of these where the times here are like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So depending on the attention span of your child, maybe start with 10 minutes and work up to 30 minutes. Okay. And then the little you always want to celebrate little wins, and it says I'm done right here where my purple pen is. Okay. I really need to switch to a different streaming service. All right, let me get this off the screen so I can talk to you. Okay, and then I have it for Tuesday, Wednesday, so the whole week, and then the weekend as well. Okay, and that will be a free download for you guys. All right, so that's just one way. When you're telling your child you got to do this, you got to give them the tools. Oh, my husband's getting something to eat. Okay. You got to give them the tools. Don't just say, do this and this, and then you take off. Show them how they can do that. You have to show them how, just like here, look, we talk about how to read literature. We don't know. You just think you just open the book and read. But there is a technique, we assume people know how to do things, basic things, and we have to show them what does studying look like? What do you actually do? So all of those kinds of things. Okay. So that's tip number 2. All right. Oh, and also when you are helping them clean and organize their space, ask them, where does this go? Where does this go? Be a broken record, okay? And if you think that's not a place where it needs to be like, you know what? Have you considered this? Okay. All right. So number 3. Now I I am doing this right now with my 9th grader who is in public school for the first time. I did this the first semester, okay? I ain't doing it now. I gave him his little grace just because everything was so new. But number 3 is your children are late on their assignments, okay? You say, hey, let's knock out those fractions by the end of the day, right? Or you give them an assignment and you're going to check it tomorrow. Whatever it is, something to do, they don't do it. And you don't really penalize them for not doing it because you're like, oh, well, I know it's kind of hard for them. They're not motivated. It's going to take forever. And then you kind of let it slip to the next day, and then the next day, and then everybody forgot what was supposed to be done. And then you have assignments that have not been turned in or were halfway done with good intentions. And I thought I had this turned off. Okay. And so now you got a hot mess. Okay. So instead of just, turning a blind eye to the fact that they didn't turn in their assignments on time, okay, ask them, hey, I noticed you didn't get your math assignment turned in to Mr. D. Or this is me talking to my child when he was in Mr. D's class back in the day. Or, I see you started on your essay, but you were supposed to finish it today because it's due tonight, midnight. Okay. Um, when can you get this done? This is the time. Oh, where's my book? This is the time where we start talking about character traits. Hold on, I got a book I need to show you. I keep pulling out. I have a lot of books I'm going to go over to help you out. It's my Siblings Without Rivalry. Is that it way up there? Okay, I'm gonna get it in a second. So, what am I talking about? Okay, so instead of having this fighting match, because it's going to turn into a fighting match with them screaming, I don't know how to do it, or it takes too long, or it's too hard, or whatever, and then you guys get into this yelling, screaming match. You just want to sit down with them and say, okay, what is due today? Okay. And if you or your child, if they don't use a planner, like I have some planners, and you can just do, and this could be something simple on their computer if they have one in Excel, you know, or it could be like this is like a planner for parents, but they can just take a monthly calendar, right? Or a weekly calendar. You can buy them a planner or just let them do something in Excel, okay? Just, I messed up this planner, but just a basic planner, okay? And just jot it down. Nothing hard. Rational numbers, pages 96 to 98. Do problems 1, 2, and 3. Okay, just really quickly. But if um, if your child doesn't have a plan to get it done, that ADHD will kick in and it won't get done. Okay, so they need the motivation and they need the focus with no distractions to get that done. So you're going to sit with them and say, okay, you got 2 paragraphs left to get done. So what's the game plan? Okay. So one thing that I need to make a video on things not to say to your kids, and one thing to not say is anything that's a command. Well, just do that. Well, don't do that. Or put it in here. Or hurry up and do that. So you never want to start a sentence. I learned this from a seminar I went to. You never want to start your sentence with a command, like, because then your child is automatically going to just tune you out. So instead of saying, get this done before 8 o'clock or before dinner, be like, okay, you got 3 hours before dinner. What's your game plan? So put it on them and see what's manageable for them. So if they say, oh, I can write 3 paragraphs before then, and your child can't, help them be realistic. Okay, so are you going to do a paragraph an hour? Are you going to how are you going to do that? Are you going to like try to like do all 3 paragraphs in 1 hour and then the next hour just edit it? What's your game plan? And how can I help? Okay. Because a lot of times our children, our teens might feel not good enough or intimidated, or, they feel they're not up to par. And so we have to constantly just reaffirm that, hey, you know what? You might not get it the first 200 times, but you're going somewhere. So we just want to not only encourage them, but also give them those tools to be successful. Even if those tools don't work, you give them something. Don't work, try something else. But it's better than them having nothing. Okay. All right. Tip number 4. Um, I am so guilty of this because I am OCD and I think I know everything. Insisting that your way of doing things or your system is the best way. Oh, well, it worked for me. I was able to do this or do that. Or, oh, I've been doing this for 10 years and I know. Kids don't care because they're not you. So um, instead of just, saying, well, when I was struggling or this helped me out, first acknowledge that your child is struggling. So for me, my thing is, prepare for your day the night before. That worked for me. I'm always prepared. So when the morning comes, I can sleep in late, I can have a leisurely breakfast, or if a problem arises, I already have half the things done. So I don't have to panic. That worked for me. I always say that to my kids because that worked for me, preparing the night before. For 2 of my kids, they like to fly by the seat of their pants. They want to finish their homework early in the morning before school starts at 8. It's 7 o'clock. Why are you asking me, Mom? This is this morning and it's raining and it's storming. Mom, how do you do a hyperlink in Google Docs? I'm like, is this for an assignment that's due today? Yeah, but I got it. I got it. I'm good. So it took everything in me not to say, didn't I tell you to get your stuff done last night? But I simply said, okay, son, I'm going to sit down. I want to show you. And then we're going to have a talk about how we can better plan, okay? Because it's easy for you to just do everything right before school starts. But what if I'm doing something and I can't help you, okay? So now you can't just think about yourself. You got to think about other people. He's like, I know you're right because you're always, doing. Because I got 3 kids. It is chaos in the house, and we have a water leak in the bathroom, and it's raining and storming outside. So it's crazy. So I'm like, okay. So that's the whole point. So, but his system works. But I told him you have to kind of think about when your system doesn't work. Okay. So I'm not trying to tell you to do my system, but if you're going to do your system, you need to have a contingency plan for that system. So we're going to work on that when he comes home today. Okay. But I was proud. Let me ring the bell for me. Oh, this bell is not as loud as my other one. Here, I'm going to grab this one. So I had a win because I did not go off on him. Okay. But when he comes home, we're going to talk about, hey, you got to have 2 scenarios when your system is working and when your system is failing, what's your backup? Okay. So I think that's how I'm going to play it. All right. But what I'm going to do is tweak it. So I'm like, hey, okay, baby, your plan works for you to do things early in the morning. Bet. Can we tweak it a little bit? So if there's an emergency, then you can still get this stuff done before school. So instead of me saying just do it my way, I'm like, okay, that looks good. I like it. Have you considered this as a little tweak, as a little backup? No. He's like, okay, because he'll probably say no. Okay. Well, the next time you need my help, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. So you want to just kind of like go do a dry run and see. So make it like a game or something, but especially if you got boys, because when they're teens, that testosterone is coming out and they're really starting to test you, and you're not a man. So you don't have that deep voice, that Adam's apple, that body mass to get up in their face. So they're not really intimidated by you. I mean, well, my sister, her kids were intimidated by her, but she was in the Marines, a drill instructor, and she can punch you right in the throat in like point zero seconds. But my kids, 2 of them are bigger than me. So I'm not menacing to them. So they're going to push the boundaries. So I have to do some Jedi mind tricks with them. All right. Let's move on to number 5. One thing, so what we don't want to do is say, oh, this is easy. Come on, I'll show you. Or come on, let's knock it out. Because a lot of times we'll say something that's easy just to kind of alleviate any fears that our child might have, and and to make them feel comfortable. But in reality, it might not be easy for them. All right. Even if you know what your child is capable of doing. And so you're like, okay, well, I know they're really good at, equations, balancing equations. So I'm like, hey, let's do these problems. I know this is gonna be really easy. You can knock it out. But maybe that day it's not going to be easy for your child. Okay. And so now you just put this added stress on them, and if they don't rise to the occasion, they're going to feel like they're not good enough, like they're stupid. And by the way, that's one thing you don't say is stupid, okay? One thing, this was always a pet peeve. I'm a sidebar. This was always a pet peeve of mine early on, with my child when he was diagnosed with autism. I would hear friends, family members refer to the child, oh, yeah, he's autistic. I never liked that label. It's one thing to say, oh, he's a basketball player. Even still, I don't like those labels because that means you are nothing more than that label. I know professional athletes, some I used to date, retire, whether by force or on their own terms. And because they were always identified as a football player, when they weren't a football player, they were kind of lost because that was their whole identity, that noun, those 2 nouns with the adjective and a noun. For your child, when you say, oh, he's an ADHD kid, an ADHD teen, or whatever, you're putting that label on them. And so they're like, okay, well, I can't do it. I got ADHD. When I would hear people say that child is autistic, that's an autistic child. Uh, when some of my family members would say, "Oh, Jay, uh, he's autistic." I'm like, "No, he's Jay. He's just a happy 6-year-old." Now, what he has is autism, but I never said autistic because that is a label, a noun placed on someone. I always just say the adjective, something that describes something about him, but it is not him. So with the ADHD, when you're saying, "Oh, this is easy," and or you're prescribing all of these things that they can do, you haven't asked them if they can do that. Okay, so we don't want them to feel like they are inadequate or the S word, because I find that could be very hurtful to a child. Okay, so instead, you know um because we don't want to judge them. So instead, we can just be like, "Hey, we got this thing to do. Let's sit down. Let's walk through it bit by bit." Okay. Now, remember, if you refer back to some of my old videos, when I was teaching my youngest child, who was in third grade at the time, how to write, and my other two, I had no problems with. This one, it was crazy. And at the time, I wasn't realizing that he didn't have the finger, the muscular stamina to write for more than one sentence. He was very weak, muscle development in his hand. Um, and so we literally did one word a day. Okay. Talk about chunks, talk about Pomodoro in a written sense, in an active sense. So, but I had to walk my child through it one day, one word at a time. Now I could have been like, "This mofo over here, oh Lord have mercy, it's gonna take us a month to do a paragraph." I could have said all those kind of things. Of course, I would never say that, but that's what we had to do. Now, he writes all the time, no problems. But you have to do you have to not. I'm telling my child, "Let's go write a sentence." It's easy. It was a sentence, y'all. 5, 6 words, period. It wasn't easy for him. He had to do one word a day. Y'all watch my video on that. It is third grade curriculum review for writing and rhetoric. Okay, writing and rhetoric. Just go to my curriculum review playlist, and I show you what we had to go through. Okay, so I'm living off the stuff that I'm telling you. So stop saying something is easy, even if they've done it before, because it might have been hard for them to do it the first time, but it didn't show up looking hard to you. So you never know. Okay, so walk them through it. All right, next one. And then I'm going to get to some tips and resources. Okay, I'm so guilty with this. Telling them to do the hard thing first, so then they can get over that hump and breathe a sigh of woosah. Okay, if you do the hard stuff first, and all you have is just the easy stuff, and your day will be easy peasy. Okay. Because if motivation is an issue with your child, doing the hard thing first, child, good luck with that. Let me take a sip. By the way, does anybody want to come in and share any stories? You don't have to show your face. You don't have to show your face. I'm going to put a link in here to encourage y'all to come on in, so I don't have to do all the talking. But let me tell you, motivation is hard for kids. I'm going to put the link in the comments. Motivation, I hope it's clickable. I have no idea if that's clickable, but you can just copy it and then click on it. Okay, if you want to come on. So you just think about you doing hard stuff first, and how you don't want to do it. You don't want to do the dishes first thing in the morning, or you got garden work or yard work to do, or you got wash day with your hair or something like that. You're like, oh. And do you do it? No, you might do something else. So for our kids, oh my god, my left is dirty. So for our kids, it's breaking it into chunks, because if they start doing it and they don't finish because they're being distracted or they're being inattentive or they're thinking about a whole bunch of other things, or they're working on it and then they just lose motivation. Because it's one thing to get them motivated, it's another thing to keep them motivated, y'all. That's why you do the breaks. Now listen, I dropped a video earlier this week where I compared 4 math programs, and one of the programs is was Saxon Math. And I said it was a good program, a math program for children who have low working memory. It's also a good program for kids who have ADHD, which usually, is sometimes is low working memory, meaning you can only hold a little bit of information at a time before I'm on to the next thing, or that's it. I can't fill the bucket anymore. So when you're giving them little chunks to do, you could give them something hard to do first, but give it, like, say if it's some algebra stuff, do the first half of the page, or do the odd numbers, or do the even numbers. Okay, if it's English, do give me 5 minutes of writing, or something like that. Give them a chunk, let them be successful, then let them go off, and then bring them back in, but let them know how long that break is. Okay, you see the theme here? All right, so everything is in a chunk, because that attention span, the attention is the main thing. The focus is not there all the time, so you have to learn to live in bites, in chunks. Okay, and then with the way the world is with TikTok and stuff like that, everything's in smaller chunks. That fits right up their alley. Okay, so we don't want to demoralize them. We want them to be able to be successful. That's why, see, listen, I do things with intention. You know how I talk about the bell, the the small wins? I've been saying this for 2 years. And I always say, hey, let's start off with small wins, things that you don't think is a win. You need to do that with your child. So, because look, and this was one of my fears. Lord have mercy. My middle son did not learn how to tie his shoe until 7th grade. I mean, like, in a way that pleased me, until 7th grade. Now he would kind of tie it, but it looked all raggedy and like a preschooler tied it, and then it would come untied. And then when I look closely, sometimes it wasn't really really tied. It was just kind of just like he just stuck all the laces together and into the little holes. It wasn't even tied. But I had to give him points secretly for like trying to get over on me. But he was just sticking all the things in and moving them around so they looked like they were like bunny ears. But 7th grade. And Lord have mercy, I was like, oh my God, I've done this like 1,000 times. I just, I don't need my child to be in high school and then his shoes come untied, or middle school, and then he's like, or he's trying to stuff his laces inside his shoes, and he's gonna get made fun of. So that's my fear, and that's a lot of our fears, is that our kids aren't gonna learn the things that we think everybody's doing, and they're gonna stand out and be ostracized. Trust me, y'all, that's the world. Why do you think books like these? Now, this book came out in, I think, the 90s or something like that. I have my blue screen on, but let me see if I can turn it off so you can see this better. Everybody's got executive functioning issues. Let me tell you, when I first got into the special needs community, honey, anytime you wanted to buy something special needs, it was like at least a couple $100. Whether it was a ball, a bouncing ball that you sit on, the weighted blankets, little lap weighted blankets were like $105. You can get them at Target for like $25, but it was special needs. So they just doubled, tripled the price. They were just price gouging people who were already going through, probably more financial hardship than the average person, just because of therapies and just all kinds of stuff. So, where was I going with that? I do have ADHD. So everybody is ADHD. Everybody has executive functioning deficits. Okay, we call it self-regulation. This was a very famous book when my kid first came out. This is actually a newer book, but let me tell you, I think one day I might do a book flip through here, because this is so valuable. All right, but it lets you know, this is actually popular with the C-suite people, the CEO, CFO, CIO, CEO, because they have to know how to do that. Okay, executive functioning skills, organizing, planning, execution of that, emotional regulation. Okay, all of that, because you don't want your company to get sued. So all that to say, doing the hard things first, do it in little chunks. Okay, I'm almost done, y'all. Now let's talk about let's see. Oh, praise. Oh, I know where I was going. Praise for little things. Okay, like I said, I start our videos, our lives with small wins. Do that with your child. Okay, because you never know what was really difficult for them. Okay, so if you say, hey, you know what, you really I like how you talked to your brother today. You could have yelled at him, but you were very calm. Okay. Or I like how you just put your dishes in the sink instead of on a counter. That really helps me out with keeping the house and the kitchen clean. Okay. Um, hey, your handwriting's looking really nice lately. I will appreciate that. Okay. I see you, kid. I see you working. So just little things. Okay. Just those small things. Hey, I noticed you took a shower this morning. I appreciate that. And on behalf of the whole family, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service, son. Just little things like that. All right, let's move on. All right, so let me give you some resources. So let me show you. Now, I have a video and I have it in the description box. I made this video years ago, but I uploaded it in 2018, but I made it in like 2015. And I talk about the Pomodoro technique, okay? And that is just simply a time management system where you take a, it starts with a 25-minute stretch of focused time, okay? And then you break it up with a 5-minute break, okay? So a 5-minute interval, okay? And then you do it again. You kind of do it like in fours, because that gets you an hour's worth of stuff done. So you do it 4 times, work 25 minutes, break 5 minutes, work 25 minutes, break, do. And then your longer breaks, more than 5 minutes, usually 15 to 30 minutes will be the next breaks after you work consecutively for 25 minutes. Okay, so you're trying to work to where you get more breaks. Okay, and you can do this all throughout the day. Now, I didn't start with 25 minutes. I started with, I think, 45 seconds. I ain't kidding. 45 seconds. Okay, so there was nowhere to go but up. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so the video I have is linked below. There's a different kind of clock. It's a visual timer. This was a pretty popular clock for kids on the spectrum back when my son was younger. But now they have, because now everything's mainstream, they have so many versions and things are cheaper. But to just show you, now this is what one looks like for a kid, okay? And the reason why I'm showing you this is because if your child is 15 and likes rainbows, then honey, get your child a clock that's got rainbows and the cloud on it. But you see, it's color coded and it shows the elapsed time. So the part where the rainbow is showing is showing you how much time has passed. Because for kids with ADHD or on the spectrum, for them, for some of them, because every child is unique, they need to see how much time they have left or how much time they put in. Okay, so it just depends on your kid. So in this case, they can see both at a time. Okay, here's one for oh, that's not it. Where's my other clock? Let me show you another one for older kids. Okay, and I deleted it. Okay, so but you see what that looks like. I'm going to pull up another one. Now this one, okay, so one of the resources I told you about is having a visual cue clock, right? Okay. Now, while I go and dig up the other picture that got deleted when my thing shut down, this is a website that I have used for years, and it's music. So there's different kinds of music for kids on the spectrum, kids with ADHD. It's not just classical music, music soothes the savage beast. I don't like, never like the word savage, but I use, and this I use for me. without knowing anything, is binaural or binaural beats, and I'll put that in the comment section, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. But it's binaural, or like aura, but some people get scared, but binaural beats, okay? That's what that looks like. And then I'm going to show you some of my favorite channels where I would go and get the music. Now, this I can attest to. Hold on, let me just get the other, the clock. Okay, here we go. I don't know how you disappeared. Okay, it's loading. So here we go. And this is one, I try to find the cheapest ones. So here's one like for an older child, right? Okay. And that's a visual cue clock. I do have this description links I do have links in the description box through Amazon. They are affiliates, just being honest. But find you a visual, the keyword is a visual timer. Okay. So look for that. Now, let me show you the music. So you have several kinds of music. Sometimes they'll call it relief music, lo-fi music. Let me just show you what it looks like. Lo-fi is L-O-F-I. Let me pull this back up. But this website, I've been on it forever. He has all the different kinds of music. He has lo-fi, binaural, rock, classical, all of these things that can y'all see the name to this? Because I can't. It's Green Red Productions. I'll put that in the chat. So Green Red, and there's a reason he does Green Red. Green Red Productions YouTube channel. Okay. And this has Green Red Productions YouTube channel. He's got all the music. He has lots of stuff for ADHD. And also he goes live. I think he's live right now. Let me click out of here really quickly. I think he is live as we speak. He does go live. I don't know how often, but he's great. He's just wonderful. So I would check out that channel for music to listen to. Now, rock is, you would think rock music, that would just be like too much overstimulation. But actually, it's like kids who are hyperactive, they tell them to drink coffee and like, it could go crazy or it could be okay. It's kind of the same thing. The rock music kind of hits that dopamine and it kind of just soothes them. It's just that extra that the rock gives, it's just a little kick they need to get over the hump, and then it's woosah. Okay. Now, for I forgot to bring the CDs. I have a stack of CDs. I have over 100 CDs. My kids, they actually transitioned from the music to talk radio. So they would, old radio. So they would listen to old detective shows, um, uh, the comic book shows, like the Black Avenger or the Green Ranger, all of that stuff. So they like to just have something in the background as distracting, which that would help them focus. So that's something to consider. I talked about the Pomodoro timers. There are also digital timers on your phone. So you got teens. There are so many apps, so they can just find one that resonates with them. A lot of time, the digital timers, they have all kinds of little added things to help with focus and concentration. Then they also have things like for exercising, things to help you during your break. They'll like have exercise things on there, so you can like do like 5 different exercises for a 5-minute break or something like that. So I think that's pretty cool. So definitely look at you can do visual time apps or POMODOMO. Let me put it in the comment section. It is I think I put it before. Pomodoro timer. And pull that up. Let's see. I'm almost done, guys. Okay, so to wrap up things not to say, oh Lord, please don't say you're not trying hard enough or you're being lazy. Please, that is like the premium lead gas being poured on a fire. Please do not say that. That will just kill all motivation, all kinds of open communications between you and your child by saying that. Also, and I've used this, I've been guilty of this. I love you, but, and as soon as your child hears but, child, they didn't close the ears. Okay. So I love you, but I need you to get your room clean by the end of the day. So instead of, saying that, okay, hey, baby, I love you and I like how you've been working hard and, doing what you've been doing. Can you do me a favor and can you, like, put those clothes in the laundry basket for me? Can you just knock that out? Find one thing for him to do, okay? Um, or one redirection, but put it in, but coat it in the sentence of I love you and find something positive. There's a lot of praise going on with your kids, okay? I'm sorry. I know that they say, don't overpraise your kids. But when you got kids, they have these special needs, you can't do too much praise, okay? So, hey, I love you, baby. And can you do this for me? Okay? And then take it from there, okay? And I think one last thing I would tell my kids when they would see other people being ADHD around their parents and their parents would just kind of give up, I'd never knock that parent, that household, that child, because I don't know the situation, but I would always tell my kids, that's not how we roll. That's not how we do things. Okay. So you come over here telling me, Jared's mom, lets him slide with his schoolwork, or he don't have to do chores. I'm like, that's great for their household. That's not how we roll in this household. All right, you hungry? What you want to eat? And and don't dwell on it. Just constant reminders. That's not how we do things. Okay. So you're not putting anyone down. Okay. You're not trying to elevate yourself up. You're just stating facts. That's not how we do things. Okay. So those are oh my God, 51 minutes. Okay. For now on, I'm going to really, I'm going to use more notes so I can get out of here faster. But, so those are more than 5 tips for how you can successfully help your child deal with ADHD, okay? And these are real tips. These are things that I have done. I have seen other people do, and they really help. Also note that before we get out of here, I do have this printable, which I will sometime today. I do have someone coming to fix the roof from my child's bathroom. Is we have old piping, and it's just like little pinholes throughout the house, so every other year or so we get a leak somewhere in the house because old copper piping. Anyway, but I will put this up either today, tomorrow at the latest. That will be a free printable for you. And I'm going to fix it up because I'll do it tomorrow because I realize I some of the this is an old copy. I don't have everything lined up the way I want it. So, but I will have that for you as a download. All right. So any questions, let me know either in the description below. Please put a like on the video and let me know if we need to keep doing these live streams. Okay. And I will see you on the next year. I don't know when that will be, but I will be dropping a video next week, another review video. And so I want you guys to start getting all your information in for curriculum before so you can start prepping for the next year. All right. I love you guys. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.